Yo, have you heard about Anchor? It's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Welcome, everyone, to the L7C podcast, Naruto What If Battle Edition. Today, we got the NDP Naruto Forum. We have Byron, Justin, Nikki, and today we have a new person joining the forum, our My Hero Academia enthusiast, Andrea. Welcome to the NDP Naruto Forum.
Okay.
So before we start, happy belated birthday to our captain, Byron Mitchell. How was your birthday, sir?
It was pretty good. My sister made me a nice steak dinner. We had cake and my favorite ice cream, which is chocolate chip cookie dough. So it was a pretty great birthday.
And our producer, Mr. Ackendell. How are you doing today, sir? It's been a minute.
No, it's been about a month, but I've been doing well, man. Researching this. Got the draft next week. That's about to take up a lot of my time.
And our guy, Nikolai. How are you doing today, sir?
Living, chilling. Good day. Ready for this.
Absolutely. Let's hop right into it. Today on our Naruto What If battle, we have a Kage versus Kage matchup. We have the Fifth Hokage Tsunade versus the Fourth Raikage A. This is a battle of extreme heavy hitters, and we've been talking before recording. This could go either way, but we are going to start it off with the birthday boy, Byron. What are you seeing in this type of matchup, and who would you think would come out on top?
This matchup is really, really tough because you have speed and power in the Fourth Raikage versus healing and power in the and Lady Tsunade. So it's really tough to see like who it would come down to. But I'm basing this off of, first I'm going to pick Lady Tsunade to win because I was watching the Kabuto fight, and I think if she can hit the A with nervous system rupture, I think it would give her an edge in the fight, and I think she would be able to combat the Raikage's speed and power. So that's why I'm picking Lady Tsunade.
Oh, that. Mr. Producer, Mr. Ackendell, how you feeling about Byron's pick? What are you seeing when we see this type of fight?
Yeah, definitely a tough matchup. Like Byron said, you got the Fourth Hokage, who's, speed and power, and then you got Tsunade, who's just power and healing. The show says that A is the fastest person in the show since Minato died. Tsunade also is a Senju and a Uzumaki according to the Narutopedia. I don't know how she's a Uzumaki, but she has that bullshit going for her being a Senju. I think it'll come down to the speed advantage that A has, and I'm going to have to go with him.
Oh, wow, going with A. And Justin, just to correct you on that, she's an Uzumaki because remember, the first married a Uzumaki was the first Jinchuriki, so Uzumaki was her grandmother.
Okay.
Nikki, what are you thinking about this match? What are you seeing?
Man, this is a tough matchup because, like everyone said, it's speed and power versus strength and healing. And my thing is, I'm gonna pick Tsunade. It was close. It was a tough one, but she just got too much bullshit going for her. She doesn't have eyes. She's got Lady Katsuyu. That's a whole ass summoning. So we know what she could do with that. And then her healing factor, her mitonic regeneration, where she was cut in half, healed all the other Kage and waited until Orochimaru pulled up and was still alive. So I mean, she just got like that bullshit going for her too. But it's definitely tough.
Okay. Andrew, what do you think about this matchup and what strengths and weaknesses? Like, who would you go with?
For me, it just kind of boils down to, like everybody has said, it's kind of a battle of attention. Yeah, A's got killer speed, but Tsunade does have like backup reserves, the ability to heal herself. So I feel like A eventually would tire out and she'd be able to make that final push to be able to win.
Yeah, so far 3 Tsunades, 1 A. So when I was researching this fight, and Justin, you were right about A being the fastest after Minato died, but when KCM Naruto passed him, he officially became the fastest. So technically, A is number 2 fastest right now in the Naruto verse. So that doesn't make that big of a difference, but also it's been stated by because the only fight that we saw both of them fight was against Madara. Madara said, and I quote, Tsunade is physically stronger than A. And it was also stated by A when he went to talk to Tsunade before she went AWOL about healing someone in his village. She said you have to beat her in an arm wrestling contest. And he knew that he was not physically stronger than her. So he decided to do a foot race, and he's faster than Tsunade. So like Tsunade's things were super. She's the strongest person physically in the verse. She has her healing, medical jutsu. A is super fast. My thing with A though is, and same with Tsunade, A is super durable.
Mm-hmm.
Like he chopped through the Amaterasu Susanoo rib. I bet it was Sasuke's, but he cut right through there, felt no pain, and karate chopped Sasuke.
Bro, he cut his own arm off.
And he cut his own arm off and kept going. So like, how do you break? How would Tsunade break like that big a guy down? And then on the flip side, when they were fighting Madara, A was only able to start cracking Susanoo ribs after the Kage made him lighter and then made his punches harder. Tsunade was doing that by herself. So there's a huge difference in power there. I just don't know how Tsunade would break down A's body, but then I don't know how Tsunade would counter A's speed. Like I feel like if A tries to go in for the Liger bomb and Tsunade survives, she's gonna really like just punch him through the chest.
He does have the lightning chakra armor, which I think is going to take some getting the it'll take a little bit to get through that. And then you were completely right about them both being durable. When I watched the 3 Sanins fight in part 1, and Orochimaru stabbed Tsunade 3 times with the sword coming out of his mouth. So that was something that I wrote down too. Like, yeah, they're both durable as fuck. I mean, A had to cut his arm off against Sasuke, but he was about to leg drop the Amaterasu covered in Susanoo. So the man's fearless as well. I just don't see how Tsunade is going to handle the speed. I know she's really powerful, but she's going to have to close the distance somehow and get a punch on him. I don't think she's going to be able to do that.
Yeah, no. And then you talked about the Tsunade fight with Orochimaru when she got stabbed 3 times. You remember too? That's when she was rusty because she hasn't fought in so many years, and she was still able, once she got over that fear of blood, to really give Kabuto and Orochimaru the work. Byron, what do you think about this closing the distance thing?
A does have that huge speed advantage, so that is one thing that I was worried about when picking Tsunade. I think she might be able to close the distance, but I don't think it'll be quick enough to counter A speed. That's why I was relying more so on that nervous system rupture. Because if she could get that in, I mean, he doesn't have the speed anymore.
Andrew, what do you think about that? Of Tsunade getting the nervous system rupture into A?
I mean, it makes sense I just also, this might be a little bit more of a hope prayer on my end, but I feel like Tsunade is extremely smart. So I feel like she would figure out some sort of strategy of a way to counter his speed. Again, that might be more hope prayer since I don't have any like fight basis to back that up with, but she is a medical ninja. She's a Hokage, so she's not dumb, and she's got fighting experience. She's on the same level as Orochimaru and Jiraiya, so she'd figure something out, I believe. But I mean, yeah, I'd still pick Tsunade over A, but it does stand to reason that obviously he is also intelligent as well, and he's aware that she's more physically strong. So it's a battle of the brains at that point, and I don't know who's smarter or more strategic between the two of them.
I would say Tsunade is definitely smarter than A because, like I said before, A was about to leg drop that Amaterasu when Sasuke was on the ground. And if Gaara didn't save him, then he probably would have been up in flames. So I would definitely say Tsunade smarter. Still going A though.
Outside of that, would if he been up in flames, Sasuke would have been dead.
Sasuke probably would have died,
but he'd still be on fire. He'd still be on fire.
Yeah.
Nikki, I want to throw this question to you. A was named the supreme commander of the Allied Shinobi forces during the war, but this was also, they decided that when Tsunade was in a coma after healing everyone during the pain arc. If Tsunade was healed, who do you think they would have picked to been the supreme leader of the war?
Oh, that's tough. Ooh, I really don't know. I feel like they'd still probably go A. I don't know. I just feel like his personality, he's more dominant. They're in the cloud anyway, whereas that's kind of where they were headquartered and shit. So it's I feel like A might still get it, or it'd just be like a 1A, 1B type thing. Like they're both that person, you know?
Yeah. And Justin, what do you think about that? Because I think the only reason they picked A is because he was the strongest one at the time of them picking, because Tsunade was out.
Yeah, you have a point, but I still think they will pick A simply because of the fact that all the bullshit that happens in that show starts with the leaf. So I wouldn't let them be running the war. Just in my opinion. So I think they still will win with A. I mean, all the bad guys are from the Hidden Leaf during that war. You got Mandara, Obito, Sasuke at a point. They all came from the leaf. The root of all evil in that show comes from the leaf. So yeah, I'm still think they would have picked A, even if Tsunade was awake. And Danzo was just Hokage right before then too, so that probably put a bad taste in everyone's mouth as well on the Leaf Village. So yeah, I think they'll definitely.
But Justin, Tsunade would be like, why should we pick you? She would be like, we have a Hatake. We got the guy.
That's true. I also think they would have picked Tsunade because she's the first's granddaughter.
Well,
she's a Senju.
I know, Justin. What did you say? Eyes, intelligence, and bloodline?
But Mandara said she was a weak Senju.
Compared to her grandpa, I mean, I was watching that fight and reading the manga chapters again. I was like, wow, this guy is really berating the five Kage they're
he was whooping the dog shit out of all of them. It was bad.
It was.
Wow, he said, "Do you want them to use Susanoo or not?" What?
I was watching that fight earlier. I'm like, damn, he really pulled up on him with 5 copies of himself for each Kage.
Yeah, because it was chapter 577 where it was just the 4 of them because Tsunade was in the back healing them, and the 4 of them were getting their asses whooped. So Tsunade's like, I'm a hop in, and then Madara's like, well, you're about to die. You're the healer. And she just charged straight in and just punched the shit out of Susanoo. And he was like, She's like, I could see her, but she's a lot stronger than A. And that's an A amped up by the other Kage. But I want to talk about Hokage's speed. And Cedric said something about him being too fast for the Sharingan. I do want to preference that was Sasuke's shitty Sharingan, as Justin said. There are levels to those eyes, and he wasn't fast enough that he got Madara off guard. Madara was able to counter him and all of that jazz. Andrew, how big a factor do you think Tsunade's summoning would be? Because if A doesn't get rid of the summoning, that could continuously heal her.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I'm so sorry.
No problem. How big of a factor do you think Tsunade's summoning? Tsunade, that healing her.
I mean, I do. I mean, being able to heal yourself and heal other people is like a and again, it kind of comes down to that whole like battle of attrition. I feel like she's able to keep herself going longer term than he can, and speed over time starts to slow down. Whereas like her healing ability could eventually run out, but considering she has years worth of stored chakra, I mean, I think it gives her a bit of an edge.
Nikki, you were the one who brought up the summoning, and I want to throw this question to you too. If A would have been stabbed by that Susanoo blade, do you think he would have died? Because that stabbed Tsunade right through the heart.
Oh yeah, he definitely would have died. 100%. She only survived because of her jutsu. That's the only reason she survived. And let's not forget about Lady Katsuyu. Everybody feared her too. They didn't mess with Katsuyu. Even Orochimaru didn't mess with her. She's got that acid, and they've only summoned
that is true.
And they've only summoned a 10th of her. So it's like she's tough. That's a tough summoning to have.
Byron, what do you think? Like, because we're comparing their durabilities, because they're both very durable. And the only film we have is them both against Madara, and she got stabbed right through the chest. And with her jutsu, as Cedric said, she literally poked that thing out and threw it right at Madara like it was a javelin.
Oh yeah, I definitely think her healing jutsu definitely will come into play into this. Like you said, she literally pulled a Susanoo blade out of her and chucked it at him. So if you can't kill her, how do you win?
Justin, how do you win if you can't kill her?
You outlast her until her healing wears off, because we've seen it wear off. It wore off against the fight with Kabuto and Orochimaru, and wore off against Madara. So if he can just outlast that, the man has tail beast level chakra. I know Tsunade is a Senju and Uzumaki, so she has unlimited chakra as well. But I think he'll be able to get rid of Katsu, and then after that, it's just mano a mano, and I think he'd be able to take it. He's just too fast. Got the lightning chakra on him, man. Like, it's tough.
Yeah, that lightning chakra is super duper tough. But actually, when I was looking up Tsunade's stuff, and Byron, you're the one who brought up the nervous system rupture, because she really messed up Kabuto's stuff, like just with a tap.
Yeah.
Apparently that like jolts the nervous system and like messes it all up. So I don't know. Do you think normal Tsunade would be able to get through? Because he has to have the lightning armor on. If he doesn't have the lightning armor on, he's going to get smoked. So like, could her lightning, her little nervous system thing, pierce through her Kage's lightning? Because the dude said the only thing that pierced through his lightning that was lightning is the Chidori.
Yeah, I don't think her lightning is strong enough to pierce through his armor, but she definitely could probably punch through it over time. But it would definitely take her some time to punch through it. Then she could possibly get the nervous system rupture if she could crack that lightning armor.
She'll have to get close to him though.
Yeah,
I don't think she's going to be able to do that. I mean, on the stat book on Naruto Pier, her speed's only a 3.5. I know A's is at least a 5. So that's the thing. She's going to have to find a way to close distance. And she has a slug as a summoning. You know, slugs aren't fast. So I don't know how that's about to help her either. So
Nikki brought up something with the acid. If you have to close the distance, the Raikage has to come to you. If she spreads the acid around, like in the line of fire, I mean, he can get hit by that, slow him down a bit. Because I really feel like if she gets like full powered Omega, seal open, one punch like she was doing Susanoo's, that might be a problem. And Justin, you brought up the stats. You're right. She has a 3.5, but her ninjutsu, taijutsu, intelligence, strength are all 5.
She's a Fifth Hokage. I mean, what do you want me to say about that? There's no comeback for that. She's a cage for a reason.
My one counter to the speed thing is like, she doesn't necessarily need to get to him. He's got to get to her. And if she can survive getting stabbed in the fucking chest by the Susanoo sword, she could take the Liger Bomb from him and just clock his shit right afterwards. So like that's one thing. Like that's not a great way to go about it. You don't want to take the hit, but it's like she could take the hit and then just get him right then and there when he comes to her.
I think that's how the fight will go. I mean, she's definitely going to be taking hits. I mean, shit, every fight we've seen her in the show, she's getting whooped up on, but she's just regenerating herself. And I think A knows that, and he's not going to let Tsunade just to sit there and just regenerate herself. He's going to be on her ass with his speed, with the lightning, trying to power bomb that bitch. That's what he's going to be doing. And you know what? I think he's going to be able to get the job done doing it that way.
Andrew, what do you think of that? In closing the distance and hitting with that Liger Bomb, like how do you feel about that situation?
I think it makes sense. I am leaning more towards that Tsunade would be able to withstand and just be able to counter him blow for blow. And I'm still very much on the fact that he has to slow down at some point. Yeah, he has unlimited chakra, but they both are going to get tired eventually. He just still has that healing, has Katsuyu. I was also thinking for the acid being able to limit the environment that he's able to move in. Because if you're able to restrict the amount of movement, you can start, although she's not as fast, start predicting where he's coming from. Not that he's overly clever like Minato, just jumping all over the place, but I do feel like that can also help her.
No, that makes sense. Byron, what do you think?
With the speed or with the acid?
With the using the acid, closing in for the Liger Bomb. And I would say when watching his fights, besides Madara, because that's a whole different breed, Sasuke, I mean, he was being a little arrogant. He was letting Sasuke come to him.
Right.
Like, this is a Mangekyu Sharingan Chidori wielding Sasuke. And he's like, I'll take your hits. You afraid A's arrogance might get in the way a little bit?
I mean, if it does, I feel like that would help Tsunade in the long run. Because if she has to go to him, I mean, she's just coming full force with open seal, one punch, destroy your armor. But if it's the other way around and he has to go to her, I feel like she'd be able to set up a pretty good defense to counteract his speed.
Justin, you're a Uchiha eye-wielding type of guy. You know the Susanoo's pretty well. Where would you rank Sasuke Susanoo?
Easily 4th.
Where would you rank Madara Susanoo?
Number 1.
So if A, I guess, was losing limbs potentially to the 4th rank Susanoo, and Tsunade was bone shattering the 1st rank Susanoo, what does that tell you?
Tells me Tsunade is pretty strong, and then Madara perfected that Susanoo and then cut her in half.
But it wasn't enough, and even he had the Nani face. He was like, maybe she's not a weak woman Senju after all. That man said, I hate Senju, and I hate weak woman Senju the most. I was like, wow.
Yeah, Madara is a piece of shit. There's just no other way to explain that sentiment. I don't know. I mean, Tsunade really does have a lot going for her. Like I said, her last name is Senju.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they gave her so much stuff. That healing is just complete bullshit. I mean, Orochimaru cut her 3 times. She gets cut in half, and then Orochimaru finds her, and Karen gives her the chakra. I mean, you guys are changing my mind, but I gotta make a case for A. I mean, you can't just be putting willy-nilly people against a Senju. So like
that is true. That is true. And you I
just think he's fast enough that like it's going to give her problems. I haven't seen her fight anyone that fast in the show, and that like speed component, like he is the 2nd fastest person in the show. That means something. He has physical strength. He has that lightning chakra. He could probably do some other lightning techniques that we don't know about. They also said Tsunade has a bunch of nature transformations that she never used in the show either, too.
Everybody has that.
Yeah, but everyone has that, so I don't even count that. I know the Raikage can shoot lightning.
He does have water, too. He does have water.
Man, yeah, that's true. I mean, the only person who uses all the transform nature things that they have is Kakashi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also, Justin, you bring up that first fight. Do remember she picked up Gamabunta's sword like it was like lightweight.
Yeah, she's a strong girl. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Like she punched Susanoo. She punched the first ranked Susanoo. Like she's tough, but I just think that speed and that armor is going to be the difference, because I just don't see how she's going to be able to pierce through that armor to even do the nerve thing. It'll be one thing if A didn't have that lightning chakra armor, but like he has it, so it's going to be a issue to deal with. I don't think she's going to.
Justin, does it change? Do you think A wins with just the one arm, or do you need the 2-arm A to even stand a chance?
I want 2-arm A. I went into this with 2-arm A.
So what if it's right after they fight Madara and they heal up and they're like they want to settle it? That's 1-arm A.
Him having one arm poses a problem, and then we're going to have to call Killer B, and it's going to be a tag team fight, and they're going to punch his head off like they did Kisame.
What? Where's this tag team coming from?
Because that's how he's going to win if he only has one arm. That's why it turned into a tag team. The same way last month, if Ino had Shikamaru as a support character, she was winning the whole tournament.
The whole tournament?
Shikamaru was there, he would have found a way.
That's true, but I don't know, man. That's wild. Nikki, does it change your opinion if it's 1-arm A versus Tsunade?
If it's 1-arm A, I don't think he's putting up as much of a fight. If it's 2-arm A, it's definitely a close fight. Like, even though I've been arguing with Tsunade the whole time, like, it's definitely a very close fight. Tsunade wins against A because he's going to put in work too.
Andrew, how about you? Does it matter if it's 2-arm or 1-arm?
I mean, it's definitely close with him with 2 arms and his detriment with the one. I honestly think they'd fight when he has 1 arm to be able to earn her giving him another arm.
Oh, wow. That'd be... I mean, you want to talk about smart, too. Like, at the end of the war, she was able to figure out, like, the white Zetsu army stuff, know how to make limbs. She's the reason Naruto has a whole other arm.
Yeah, I mean, she was so good at medical ninjutsu. She developed it since the Second War. Like, that's her thing.
You know, like, she healed Rock Lee from the 8 gates damage no one thought was possible. She healed Sasuke from Sukehome mental trauma no one thought that was possible. Like, her intelligence is low-key built different. Well, can't be perfect. Gambling and her loved ones used to always die. That used to be her trope thing. Needs to train up Suzune better, though. She just left her for dead.
Suzune got worked against Kabuto and Orochimaru. Like, she was out quickly.
And she was supposed to be her student was soccer. Byron, doesn't matter to you 2-arm A versus 1-arm.
Definitely 2-arm A is definitely going to put up more of a fight than 1-arm A. Because with 1 arm, she can see that, oh, he's only attacking with 1 arm. So that's not much to worry about. With 2 arms, she got to worry about 2 arms. Definitely a closer fight.
Can't do a Liger bomb with 1 arm.
That's true.
that is true. You can do. I really do think this fight is like, if I had to put percentages on it, I really feel like it's 59-49. Like, I feel like that healing is just way too much. Like, I would really give 51% to Tsunade, then 41A. Like, if they fought a best of 7, it'd always go to game 7. Like, that's how I feel this fight would go. Like, I really do. And A, I've only seen him fight, well, just like Tsunade, we've only seen him a couple times. I saw A whoop the shit out of shitty Sasuke. Then Madara was out here giving him work, and Tsunade had to come and start punching shit because they weren't doing shit on the front lines.
And then his other fight, he came in there at the end of the Kisame and Killer B fight, and they did the double clothesline to knock his head off. That's the other fight he was in. That's
true, and I don't know if I want to say to A's intelligence, but how do you know that's not the real Kisame that's dead? You thought it was that easy?
Yeah, that was a 30% clone.
Yeah, you can definitely talk shit about A's intelligence. Like I said, he was about to do a leg drop on Susanoo covered in black flame. So yeah, I picked that up too. He's probably not the brightest.
I mean, so we have. So you went Tsunade.
Yep.
Byron went Tsunade. Nikki went Tsunade. I'm going Tsunade, and Justin is going A this time.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, that's Tsunade. This would actually be the first time you talked about the root of all evil. This would be the first time a Leaf Village person has won on this episode. On these episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Justin, what's up with the racism towards the Leaf?
I mean, they did 700 plus episodes essentially about the Leaf Village. Our little podcast can give the other people in the show some shine too.
Mm-hmm.
That is fair. That is fair. And Tsunade and Kabuto, I mean, Kabuto was just too outclassed, man. He was too outclassed, and to become what he became at the end, life's crazy. Well, I mean, yeah, I think that's really it on this fight. Anyone got any last comments about this one? I really feel like this would be. I don't know if the ground would survive this type of fight.
I do have a little comment about the part 1-3 signings fight. I wonder how that fight would have turned out if Orochimaru could like actually use his hand. Like how that would have been.
Well, you want that to be the next one? I have a next one in my head, but we can make that the next one. Ooh.
No, I was just like, doing research and shit. I was just like, damn, like I wonder what Orochimaru would have been like in this fight. Him and Kabuto versus all of them, if he could like actually, summon shit. Because Kabuto had to summon Manda for him. So.
Yeah.
I'll throw you one on that better. I wonder how that would have went if Jiraiya wasn't like drunk, like off the drugs and stuff.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, it probably would have ended quickly. Orochimaru couldn't do a damn thing.
All of them at full power.
All of them at full
It
power?
would just basically be that, because then you could say Tsunade if she wasn't rusty and shit too. Like they all had something in that fight where they weren't up to par.
Like I'm literally looking at this picture right here where Tsunade is punching Orochimaru into the sword. Like she sends him flying. And I don't know who win that full power though, because then you got Jiraiya stage mode. Like
yeah.
Man, but Orochimaru probably knows over 1,000 jutsus. You don't know what the hell he gonna throw at you.
You know he's about to use reanimation jutsu too.
And he's just a slimy bastard.
That's also true.
Talking about somebody who never seems to die.
Oh, he never dies. It's ridiculous.
To this day.
He always finds a way. He's hiding in some rock because his main body's dead, gets sealed, hiding somewhere else. Like when Sasuke's like, I'm gonna bring Orochimaru back. I'm like, what? Your brother's
Aww.
And then he does some shit and he's back. I'm like, okay. All right. Well, that's something else. Anyone else got anything on this fight?
No, I don't have anything else.
Andrew, do you have anything else?
No.
Nikki?
Nah, nothing I can think of.
Y'all ready for the next fight?
Yes, lay it on me.
This one is for Justin, because Justin has been clamoring with people with eyes. And we are going to bring 3 people with eyes into this. And this is inspired by a meme I sent earlier. We are going to have Itachi Uchiha and Nagato Pain versus 10-tailed Madara Uchiha.
Wait. Huh?
Oh.
Itachi Uchiha and Nagato Pain versus 10 Tails Madara Uchiha.
Whoa.
So the living, basically the stage of 6 paths right there in Madara versus those 2. Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Just like Naruto and Sasuke fought him, we're gonna do Nagato and Itachi. And Justin, this is full power Nagato. All the bodies are in one.
Whoa, so reanimation war arc Nagato Pain?
And reanimation war arc Itachi
Oh my
Uchiha.
god. No sickness.
Ooh.
No illness.
Oh wow.
Well,
Andrew, how do you feel about that matchup?
Y'all crazy.
Are you gonna come back for that one?
I don't know if I'm qualified qualified to weigh in on that one. Jeez.
I don't think anyone is. I think Justin is, though. These are his people.
First of all, listeners, 2 favorite characters in the show are probably Itachi and Pain, so this is right up my goddamn alley.
Justin is the Narutopedia of Itachi and Pain. You don't even have to look it up. You just have to ask Justin. Like those are his guys, and yeah, that is the next one coming up in the month of May. I wanted to do 10 Tails Obito, but I feel like they could beat him, so we had to up the stake.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait. This is going to be some real ass research right here.
Yep, no sickness, all the 6 bodies. And then Justin, I had one for I wanted to keep it going for Pain for you for the 6 paths of Pain versus 6 paths of Toby.
We're gonna save that for the summer. But
I mean, that would be the summer if it's in June. If that's the June one,
I know. So 2 months, but like, yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, your boy, mass man Toby.
Pain still has his Rinnegan, right?
Yes, he had. Yes, yes. We know that was a very disrespectful scene for you when Toby's like, "Well, time to go get my eyes back."
No, it hurt my soul.
So he still has his Rinnegan. Yes, both eyes. That'd be June.
Okay.
But yep.
Definitely has the tail beast advantage. My guy. You'll figure it out. I'll figure out a way to get Pain that win.
We gotta make sure Pain survives against moderate 10 Tails. That's a whole different breed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we have Itachi as our partner, so we should be fine.
Yeah, true.
I don't know.
We'll see. I'm gonna have to brush up my knowledge on 10 Tails Mandara to see what we're really dealing with. I know everything about Itachi and Pain. I need to do my Mandara research. The slimiest of them all. Him and Orochimaru, man. Mandara Uchiha and then Orochimaru are close second. The slimiest niggas in the show. I mean,
I gotta throw Danzo in there.
Danzo, yeah.
Is he even slimy though? He's just a bastard. Like he's not even slimy about it. He don't care.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I mean, but I don't know. But with that being said, I mean, that's it for the Naruto What If battle. We went 4-1 Tsunade. A very close fight. It could have gone either way. I was saying 51-49. I am not going to do the ending spiel. We are going to pass it to the captain and the birthday guy, Byron. Close us out today.
Well, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C What If battle. We'll be back next month with a very tough matchup. Thank you guys for listening and see you guys soon.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.